Hello, everyone, and welcome to our 44th Platform and Treasury Council meeting. Today, we'll cover governance initiatives, platform developments, and upcoming proposals. I posted the agenda in the chat. These bi-weekly meetings keep the community informed, give proposers direct access to the council, and maintain transparent communication across our global ecosystem. What we're building. We're creating the Internet of Money. 7 billion mobile users can send data instantly, but still can't truly own or move money. The Telcoin Association is changing that by building the Telcoin Network and TEL as the blockchain standard for global telecommunications. Telecom operators already run the internet. With Telcoin Network, they'll also secure the blockchain, bringing accessible digital finance to every mobile subscriber worldwide. Platform architecture. It's integrated to 3 layers. The first is Telcoin Network, an EVM-compatible Layer 1 blockchain validated exclusively by GSMA mobile network operators, creating a new revenue stream for telecoms. TELX, a liquidity layer for user-owned self-custodial exchanges. TAN, mobile apps that connect users to blockchain services and each other. There are 4 minor groups with 1 shared governance. Validators, GSMA MNOs, liquidity miners, developers, and stakers all participate equally. Each group earns fees and TEL rewards for their contributions. This alignment turns participants into owners and defenders of the network. TEL token and governance. TEL is the gas token, staking asset, and governance token. The Telcoin Association is a Swiss verein governed by 5 elected councils. Our Platform and Treasury Council oversees sustainable platform development and responsible token economics. Why it matters. Every decision we make brings us closer to uniting telecom operators and billions of users around shared blockchain infrastructure, where money moves as easily as data on any mobile phone. As your elected representatives, we're committed to careful proposal review, transparency, and faithful execution of the governance framework. Let's move on into today's agenda. It's going to be a quick recap of our 43rd Platform and Treasury Council meeting. Grant reported the most productive engineering window in project history, with 85 pull requests and 79 issues closed in 2 weeks, plus major work on node reliability. AJ confirmed the TEL IP for the TEL token upgrade passed both the Platform and Treasury Council with a fast turnaround and strong consensus. Noted, the move to 18 decimals removes years of friction for developers and makes TEL compatible with the wider ecosystem. Parker announced the token upgrade moves next to TGIP2, only the 2nd constitutional vote in Telcoin's history, going to stakers, developers, liquidity miners, and validators, each voting independently on identical language with an 80% approval threshold and 20% quorum over 7 days. He shared too that Telcoin is taking a focused launch approach, starting with on-chain foreign exchange remittances, interior carrier settlements, and telecom infrastructure tokenization, and that our advisor is expected to be publicly announced roughly in a month. Now let's move on to the Telcoin Network updates. Grant, you're up.
All right, thanks, Angelica. Howdy, everyone. I've got Telcoin Network engineering update. I think the overall theme is really just about security and verification. So since we last spoke, these past 2 weeks have almost been completely about security and correctness for the protocol. We merged 65 pull requests, all addressing the Rust protocol. And that's centered around 8 engineers with one focus, and that's delivering mainnet that's ready and secure and scalable. So we're currently 1 week into our latest independent security assessment with the Cantina team. Again, their job is to break our system. Ours is to close what they find. We have a really great minds looking at the code right now. These were both handpicked by our protocol team and with security advice as well from Uku. So, over the lifetime of the program, we have had security enhancements and disclosures on the protocol, all again before mainnet. Each one of these has been fixed first privately and then published in full. So the protocol team has really refined our scope and our strategy moving forward into mainnet. So the important thing is that nothing is getting buried quietly. All of these are acknowledged, addressed, and thoroughly reviewed. So for the node itself, a lot of those changes were just security hardening, and about 15 of them were with correctness fixes. This is to address things in the protocol that would help us with information, more feedback, node operator metrics. But in plain terms, really, the network has never been more reliable. We're also shipping snapshot support, which will help nodes to quickly sync from just any point in the history, and it also lets them recover very quickly. So another big advancement this week was to just bolster the foundation for scaling the RPC infrastructure. And a lot of that is because of the nature of our unique EVM chain in the private mempools. So on the contract side, we've submitted our final changes for the assessment's closing report. I mentioned that it was pretty much done last time. We found 2 more gaps in coverage in this period from our own internal final review. And again, this is before the feature has ever been switched on. So all those fixes are now in a final review. And we've continued to run full sweeps on all the contracts, all the automated tools, plus our own internal manual review process, all coming back with 0 critical issues, and really just this thorough process again. And I'm getting much more confident being able to just say like the TN contract side is frozen. We are ready. In my opinion, we are ready for mainnet on that contract code. That frees us up to focus exclusively on the Rust side and the larger protocol that the validator nodes will be running. And again, the smart contracts are on chain in the EVM. But yeah, these are still significant milestones, right? So 3 milestones that we've cleared with the security hardening, the TEL3 proposal, and then kicking off this 4-week long, this is the largest security hurdle that we need to overcome for mainnet. When again, we're 1 week in and it's going really well. Earlier this morning, on the deployment side, we had executed another network upgrade. So these are forks on the network. This was the 2nd fork for Adiri testnet. And this is our commitment to keeping the Adiri testnet stable and long-lived and running. So any dApp developers who have built on testnet, in the past, in order to move swiftly, well, we've just reset the testnet and called it a devnet to imply that maybe it was not a permanent state, but Adiri is now permanent. And so for these breaking changes, these irregular state changes, these are forks. And it's not just maintenance, right? Managing these forks on testnet, though, is invaluable experience that we need to do before we ever fork mainnet, because once the protocol is live, we can't, there's no takebacks. This is it's a safety property. And so what we've done internally is just building out a lot of tests and expanding that test coverage, expanding node operation simulations, malicious attacks, stress testing. And really that wall between the test and the production is just enforced in code. It's not really a process. So all that to say, we are currently sitting at roughly 1,500 automated tests on the node. And that's, and between the contracts, there's more than 2 lines of test code for every line of code that runs. And that's just, I think that goes a long way to kind of codify the resilience and the structure that we expect in the standard that we have. And yeah, it's just been really, really valuable as we move closer to mainnet. So on the other line, we have application development for Telcoin Network 2 that's heavily underway. And there's, with XX features and dApps actually being built out now. So it's really exciting to see observer nodes in action and just these sort of infrastructure features that were built into the protocol being used and just running really well. So yeah, to wrap this up, these are all gates that we are closing. Granted, it's one at a time, but this remaining work is not about building new things. It's not about fixing bugs. This is about closing security gaps and production verification. So really excited to be in this final stage and really proud of the protocol team's work. It's really paid off now that we're in this last stretch. So look forward to answering any questions at the end of today's meeting, y'all.
Thank you very much, Grant. Amazing. 0 critical issues. I give the council the floor.
I'll just add, it's a huge amount of work done by the devs, and they're all on fire. Everyone's firing in all cylinders. So super excited. Things are getting closed down and moving forward super fast. So yeah, all in all, I just, it's just great to see the progress that's being made.
Moving on to the next part, it's going to be the web unification project update. Nick, you're up.
Thank you very much, Angelica. Yeah, okay, cool. So that's going really well. We have completed the first sprint of development. That was completed on the 4th of August. That covered the homepage and the MNO landing page. I'll just run through kind of where we are with it, and then I'll give a small demo. The current sprint, which we're actually reviewing on Monday the 17th, is for the developer landing page, the About Telcoin Association, and also the Telcoin Association documentation. So all those pages have been built, and we'll be reviewing those on Monday the 17th. So in total, that's 5 kind of sections of the new unified site that's been built out. Obviously, we still need to go through and fine tune things, but the point is that they've been built. And then following next week, after Monday 17th, the big one, the next sprint 3, is the Telex front end, which is a huge amount of work to do, and everybody's working really hard on that. So once we get that done, then we're on to, after that, we're down to pretty easy static pages throughout. So we're on course. Don't hold me to it, but I think we're probably about 6 weeks out now, maybe, give or take, to get kind of like, everything together, and then hopefully launching, ideally we want to get this out as soon as possible, because obviously it's unifying all the separate sites individually, bringing them all into one. And they do a great job of directing users to the areas that they need to get to on the ecosystem, whether you're an MNO or you're a developer. But I can give a quick demo of, let's have a look. Let me share my screen, see if it comes up. Okay, here we go. So yeah, this is the homepage. It's all being built out. We've got the menus up. Not everything obviously is working yet on these menus, but all these pages are getting built and everything like that. So on the homepage, we've got very clear kind of ecosystem related stuff. Some blurb here. This is kind of content version 1. Probably needs a little bit of a tweak, but as you see, as we scroll down the homepage, we've got Choose Your Journey. We've got the MNO mobile network operators. We've got the developer. This is getting built very soon, the developer page as well. And the developer page is super important. It's going to start out with a lot of stuff, but we're going to add more stuff to it. So as Grant mentioned, for example, the XX feature, that's a really cool feature for developers to be able to use on the network. And maybe later on, Grant can give a bit more of an intro of what exactly the XX feature does on a higher level. But the point being, these are really cool features. So we will document them on the developer landing page and show developers that they can tap into this resource if they're building dApps and things like that. Some examples are right now we're building a block explorer using the XX feature. And if you want to see that, make sure you tune into the TAN council call. Since it's an application, we'll do a demo on that call. But yeah, that's one example of the XX feature, to build a block explorer. But there's other things that you obviously can do with it. So yeah, on Choose Your Journey, you've got your mobile network operators, you've got your developers. Obviously, you can click in the direction you want to go. We're covering tel holders and telex, go over to this direction, business and new users. Introducing obviously the tel token, explaining exactly what it is and how it works, and then breaking down a little bit about the governance side of things as well. Just trying to give just a high level kind of small overview and allow users to take it in chunks. And then, because we all know that the ecosystem is vast and super complex to kind of understand, so we're doing our best to break down the layers on the homepage. So this is the homepage, and the other page we've got built is the MNO landing page. Let's see if it loads up here. So again, this is Choose Your Journey, and MNO would click on here, land on the MNO landing page, gives an example of everything that MNO would like to know. Running validator nodes, processing transactions, earning revenue as well. And the opportunity at scale, a bit more oomph about it all, how the validator infrastructure will work, and then a simple, start the conversation, drop down here. Those are obviously not necessarily all the ones are there. This is just temporary stuff, but you'll see that you can fill it all out, request a conversation, and then, it will get taken over and more information will be provided. And then obviously the banner, the footer has been built along with all the menus at the top. So, coming, a lot of work's been put into this. The build phase now is what you would probably say is the easier part, because as you all know who've been following, it was in 3 phases, and the second phase was the design phase. The first phase was the research phase. Second phase was the design phase, so getting all these pages designed and all that. And that took a while to kind of get to the right point. But and this is all obviously built, mobile friendly as well. So all these I can't really give a demo of the mobile version yet, but all the pages will work fine with mobile devices, since we're a mobile first operation anyway. And then we'll also have, this is not working yet, but we'll have a global intelligence search on the site, which covers everything. So you could start typing in anything you want, and it will give you instant results and take you to where you need to go. So all in all, the idea is we're unifying. We're calling it Telcoin Network as well, because Telcoin Network is the heart of everything. The governance obviously is important, but that's beneath the layers. The Telcoin Network is the actual heart of everything. So all of this stuff will be fine-tuned, and then hopefully we'll get ready to get the first version out to the world, and then we'll redirect all the other domains to telcoin.network. So you will come to one unified page all about Telcoin and its ecosystem. So yeah, that's where we are at the moment. But we will give more demos. Maybe next platform treasury meeting, we'll have another 4 pages or 3 or 4 pages maybe to demo. So as we carry on, we're going to have more and more pages to demo. So yeah, you'll be with us to the end until we get it launched. But yeah, that's where we are on it at the moment.
Amazing work, Nick. So you're saying possibly 6 weeks out?
Yeah, give or take. I mean, the original build time I think was 12 weeks. We're tackling the biggest chunk of it, which is the telex side, next in the next sprint. I wanted to get that done and dusted in the early part of the build phase, just in case we run into any technical kind of, not issues, but, anything that we need to kind of focus on. Whereas the rest of the site is pretty straightforward, Web 2 kind of website. So, yeah, we just want to get as far down as we can as possible. Yes, Andrew.
I was just going to ask for the Telex specific stuff. Is there anything that you need from us on the Telex Council to kind of help and assist and maybe push that forward?
I don't think so. We've had Halil, who obviously built the current Telex site, working really closely with us on this and with the design team, the developer team. He's actually even, documented all the API information that they need. And he's working super closely with them on the building side. And we're pretty much taking the content. But we will get you guys to help out on the content side. Once we get the demo page up and running in sprint 3. So after these next, I think we're starting on the Telex next week. Once we get that up and running, I'll share the URL with you guys as well, and you can take a look at it and see what you think, and then we can obviously take all that input in and then tweak things as we go from there.
Sounds like a plan. Okay, appreciate it. I know from our perspective, there's probably some updating on the content that needs to be done as well. Anyway, as some of it is a little bit outdated, which can happen fast in this world we're living in with crypto and DeFi stuff. Okay, yeah, just want to reach out and see if there's anything that we can help out with in the meantime. But it sounds like everything is under control. So good. Thank you.
And the great thing as well is this is all built on the back end of like Strapi, so a really popular, common and advanced CMS platform. So the point being is that it's going to be super easy for us to update information on pages or add things we need to on an ongoing basis, and we can get that done really quick. So as you say, things change really fast. If you guys need some content changed once this site is live, it will be the same day or if not the next day. So we're looking to improve the process of being able to update content as efficiently as possible as well, coming in from all the councils.
Yeah, no, that sounds amazing. So looking forward to it. So yeah, shoot us that site whenever we can start looking at it, and we'll start providing feedback.
Yeah, I'll give you guys the links to these pages as well after. I'll put them in the Slack, and you guys can check out the current home and M&O page as well. And then every time we get a new one, I'll give it to you guys as well.
Awesome, appreciate it.
Thank you, Nick. I give the council the floor. Next is Speaker Grant and Parker, TEL v3 and TGIP, the next steps.
All right. So for TGIP, I would want to start off by thanking the community for coming out and voting and sharing your thoughts on the proposal here. This is what the association is all about. So yeah, as of today, the TGIP2 is going to wind down in just a few hours, and it looks like it will be approved by the minor assembly. To be precise, what that means, the TEL IP was the first proposal that authorized the upgrade, and the Platform and Treasury Council approved that last month. And the TGIP2 is the constitutional act on top of it. So the minor assemblies have to formally record that upgraded TEL as the canonical token in the governance system itself. To date, there's only been one constitutional amendment that has ever passed before this one, and that was TGIP1, which created the association. So this is quite a monumental achievement, and we're just a few hours away here. So granted, with that, this is where we stand today. The councils have approved the upgrade. The minor assembly, once it is affirmed by the close of the TGIP2, it'll be constitutionally affirmed. And at that point, every level of the governance system has spoken. Every one of them has said yes. And from that point forward, the TEL upgrade is not just a proposal, it is the plan for the record. So what is going to happen next? First, we are going to publish the final audit report for the upgraded TEL contract. We have the draft version. They're just in the process of removing and formatting the final pages. That will be available for the community. Second, the Telcoin Association will publish the one official upgrade page. And that has the contract addresses, which are verified across the official association channels. And we need that to go into place so that we can get draft final solutions with the exchanges and the rest of the partners in the ecosystem. Part of that plan is to upgrade the legacy TEL token logo to be grayed out. We will leave the upgraded TEL to stay blue. The exchanges and custodial coordination is able to advance now. We do have that contract on chain. No tokens have been minted yet. And that lets the holders on the major venues carry through with the upgrade without really having to do anything themselves, right? The goal is to support the exchanges and to do what they need to do. And ultimately, yeah, we're in order to coordinate all of these moving parts, we just want to make sure that we have all the answers. And so specifically those venues commitments are going to be shared as the agreements are finalized. And the plan for that is, once the TGIP2 is closed, we'll be able to legitimize the new token contract, and we'll be able to move forward with the with that final detail and the final plans for exchanges, so we can provide the community with answers to all the questions. So with the timing wise, what that means, we are going to have specific dates over the next 2 weeks, figuring that out so that at the next Global Council meeting, we will be able to have all the information unified at once. What we want to do is make sure that we have a clear, concise, organized message. And again, until the TGIP2 is officially closed and ratified, it would be premature to finalize anything. Yeah, that is going to be a busy next 2 weeks for everybody, but we have all the pieces lined up and ready to move forward. So yeah, as a standing reminder, the Compliance Council is going to finalize a formal policy through its own public proposal. There are months available in the roadmap. I know that they have been very judicial and moving forward already with evaluating and discussing and planning that. Yeah, we have communicated and with the exchanges, and the ball is in their court. So we're just ready and communicating with all the different players, and we will plan to have all the answers for everybody by the next PCTC meeting. So the last consideration here really is safety. And so with that, we are taking these next 2 weeks to also create as much documentation, including screenshots and video recordings on how users can not only upgrade their tokens, but verify and prevent as many sort of attack surfaces as we can think of. The greatest risk here is not from a contract level. It's really through social engineering or from people believing something that's too good to be true. It probably is. Again, there's no migration is available yet. We will have all the information for you in the next call once the TGIP2 closes here in just a few hours.
Thank you, Grant. Is Parker speaking right now?
I think Grant covered most of the areas related to TGIP2, but I can just say that I'm really excited about the fact that we were able to get that over the line. Thanks to all the council members, once again, who spent a lot of time collectively determining how we can move forward with this in the right way and coming to a conclusion. And also a huge shout out to the community. So all systems go.
Do any of the council members have any comments, questions? Okay, we're moving on now to the Q&A. The first question is from Archie. How long have audits been going on now?
Well, the audits are they're third-party audits have been going on for we did for about a month now, but internally, you know, audits never stop and they're constantly happening. So it's part of our workflow. It's part of, we consider it part of our technical debt. We build, we refactor, we test, and we constantly conduct security assessments internally.
Thank you, Grant. There was someone who spoke French. Parlez nos parts en français. I just said that no one can answer you in French. So now,
I can
oh,
take
yeah.
that if you
Okay,
want
go
it.
ahead. Thank you, Manu.
Yeah, no worries. So the question was, quand l'Europe pourra bénéficier de toutes les options que propose l'application Telcoin? So the question is about when Europe can also benefit from all the features on the Telcoin app, probably meaning the V5, the banking, and all all those options. So the answer is alors c'est une chose prioritaire, c'est une des plus grandes priorités, mais la priorité numéro 1 maintenant c'est l'upgrade, alors le V3, puis aussi le lancement de le réseau Telco Network, fait que il n'y a pas d'estimation officielle à ce moment. So there's not an official time estimate right now, but it's one of the priorities, though the top priority right now remains the mainnet launch and the token upgrade.
Manu, français, excellent. Okay, now to the second question, Mr. Hamilton. If mainnet launches before MNO proposals are approved, who runs the initial nodes? How many are needed? And how does the network transition to MNO validators?
Grant, you got this one?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to find it because I wanted to read that as a long question here. So if mainnet launches before MNO proposals are approved, who runs the initial nodes? How many are needed? And how does that network transition to MNO validators? Yeah, I guess I'm not really sure. I'm not too worried about this. So the mainnet validator set, the initial committee set for mainnet is 10 validator nodes. And I think that's not an issue. So I guess the hypothetical who runs the initial nodes, these would be the MNOs that are participating in our Genesis launch. How many are needed? We need 10. We want 10. The TAO retains validator. What's the word? The TAO will vote on behalf of the validators set until there are 10 MNOs running mainnet. How does the network transition to MNO validators? So in the event that there is any sort of handoff or the network transitions to MNO validators, there is no exchange of private keys. So the network tolerates operators exiting the protocol and withdrawing their stake or being forcefully exited in the event of like malicious actions. And that's something that governance can control through a multi-sig operation.
Grant, I was just going to add maybe too, I think there's maybe a little confusion around like nodes and validators, whereas multiple nodes can be run by one validator, right? It's not necessarily one MNO equals one node. So I don't know, maybe you want to just lean into that a little bit more and explain that, because I think maybe there's some confusion around that between specifics between the two, because you could have multiple nodes being run by the same validator, whereas I think the impression from the community is that one MNO equals one node.
I see. Yeah, that's a great point, Andrew. Thanks for bringing that up. So that mobile network operators oftentimes run several subsidiary telcos in different regions. And so, one brand name could be running dozens of operations and different telco operators in different regions. So that in that instance, one single MNO would be bringing on several nodes on the network. And then to add to that too, we're happy to have MNOs running multiple nodes. The way that the staking works for Telcoin Network is that it's really just a membership model. Once you have staked the minimum amount of stake, you can't just continue growing stake infinitely to sort of hog the chances of being in the future committee. So, and that's really just kind of aimed at fairness. And because we have a known validator set, we want to keep that as decentralized as possible within the context of our limited validator set. So once you pay the stake, you are eligible to participate in future committees. And in that sense, too, we also incentivize redundancy and expansion on the network so that we have a healthy diversity of nodes in different geographical regions instead of just one or two super nodes that would cause problems if they went down. Instead, we want lots of network nodes so that the network will thrive under all conditions.
Thank you, Grant. Here's a third question. How many MNOs are now running on the network?
Yeah, I don't want to get into actual numbers. So the problem is that we're still, let's see, we don't want to publish these while agreements are in negotiation. Some are final, some are still under review. Operators, really, it's all under confidentiality. And so prematurely naming these numbers, it genuinely slows deals down. That is a lesson I've already learned recently. So, what I can tell you is that the validator set is visible on chain. And mainnet is going to be in Genesis. So nobody really has to take my word for any of this. You'll be able to count it for yourself.
Thank you. Here's another question. What specifically remains between the state of Telcoin Network today and the moment you are prepared to authorize mainnet Genesis?
That moment is really just about making sure that we are delivering a product that is ready for production. We have reliability, we have test coverage, we have a minimum set of features that it makes the blockchain valuable and useful and for real world transactions. But the hardest part is security, and that is something that just takes a lot of different perspectives. It takes a lot of different minds, a lot of coordination, and a lot of patience to sit there and thoroughly evaluate not only just issues and identifying those issues, but also clearing those issues up in a way that doesn't introduce new issues or leave any sort of gaps. And so really that's the last hurdle, and that's the hurdle the milestone that we're working through right now. Again, the biggest security assessment that we want to clear before mainnet is currently underway. We just completed the first week. We have 3 more weeks of that. And so, during this next 3 weeks, we will continue to work closely with the independent security researchers and address any other findings as they come up in that constant communication and the feedback loop. And it also is time that we're taking to slow think and really deeply assess what we consider the most critical aspects of the protocol.
Out of the several MNOs that have been already testing, are they all still active and testing the network?
Yes. And that's it's been an exciting adventure. So the committees for mainnet are designed around 10 validators, and that's been the architecture from the start, from the protocol. And so that is a healthy distribution of validators that ultimately vote to extend the canonical tip. And what we are working through now is that running a validator is real infrastructure, right? And there's a lot more integration work on the operator side than just spinning up a website. So what we're doing is working really closely and prioritizing operators who are ready to run nodes and that want to use the network meaningfully, rather than just rushing through just like a deployment summer thing. So I think it's exciting to see some of the use cases and some of the demos that are being prepared and thought through on actual real world payments and real world application, and how a Telcoin network, because it achieves instant finality and very low second block times. I think it's going to be really powerful to see some of these use cases come to real life.
I'll jump in as well. And that's really what we're hammering home right now. Been working closely with our advisor to, get in touch with the right people at some of the largest telecoms in the world and the most active ones in the world. And, our strategy really is to try and, of course, focus on-chain foreign exchange powered remittances that are both for corporations to send money, between different subsidiaries and between each other for intercarrier settlements. Also for consumers, and really dialing in on those use cases that we can facilitate with telecoms that are meaningful to them. So that's also tokenizing telecom infrastructure, and increasingly they're interested in agentic, which is of course an exponential area of innovation. It hasn't reached this sort of gradually then suddenly momentum shift, but probably will at some point. Nonetheless, we're really zeroed in on stablecoin finance, tokenized telecom infrastructure and other goods and assets, and that's kind of how we've been positioning ourselves with the telecoms, in the sense that we want them to be full stack members. We want them to be application developers with meaningful use cases for other telecoms to adopt and that we can exhibit, and also, of course, as validators. Having the telecoms, validate the network is a huge deal. Having them build use cases that are valuable to their industry and at large is a massive deal. And we're in a great position to make that happen with the right groups. They see our vision in the sense that there are existing telecoms that do operate validator nodes for networks, but they're not doing it to build useful things at the moment. That has, generally been more of like announcement than substance over the years. But now that they see this solution, and I'm talking about some of the largest, most involved telecoms in the world, they're like, oh, so we finally have a way that we can have banking, telecom distribution, and institutional alignment for us to foster these use cases that they've been really interested in doing. But up until now, from a regulatory perspective, in virtually every country in the world, and from an infrastructure perspective that follows from that with banking, they haven't really had that opportunity. So now there is that opportunity, and it's something that we're going to continue to steward and foster and build out over time. But also, right now it's a key area, is building out these telecom focused use cases. Instead of being everything for everyone, like every chain, we're really trying to dial in on being useful for our target segments, and then expanding sort of like how Amazon did with books.
Here's a question, Nick to Nick. Is this needed for mainnet launch, or can mainnet launch without web unification?
Yeah, for sure. Mainnet can launch without the new website. But me personally, I wanted to have the new unified website up either before or to launch, coincide to launch with mainnet. I think it's super important that we bring easier access to the information of the ecosystem and what the Telcoin ecosystem is, what the Telcoin network is. So my goal is really to get it up before mainnet comes out, because it's it doesn't need mainnet, but it's also a new updated unified version of exactly what the Telcoin network is, and who can access different parts of it, whether you're an app developer or an MNO or something. So I think it's really important. We've been speaking about this and working on this for a long time. We wanted to get our web presence right going into the new era of mainnet and the new era of the Telcoin network. So I'm glad that we took on this challenge months ago. I think it was back in December 2025, we kind of started on the vision. So it's been a long road, and it's good to see that it's getting built now. And I think once we actually launch that, whether it's before mainnet or I don't want it to really come out after mainnet. I think personally for me, I'd want it to come out before. But I think once we get this done and we get it live, the community can obviously go through it and read it. All other stakeholders that are interested, developers or MNOs, etc. It also is going to help hugely with the SEO. Right now, we've kind of got, because we've got multiple different domains. We've got the telcoin.network, we've got the telcoin.org, we've got telex.network. So, with funneling everything through to the main higher domain of telcoin.network, we will see some huge improvement in SEO, in Google rankings across the board. So all of this is important. Some of it's not the fun stuff, but it's the roll your sleeves up and get stuff done kind of thing that's going to tick along in the background and help, not just visually, but also help, from an SEO perspective, bringing everyone to the main telcoin.network website. So yeah, it's a long answer, but short answer is no, it doesn't, they're two separate things, but we want to align them.
Thank you, Nick. Rodney Mortgage asks, we've supported TEL for years, but haven't seen any return on our investment. When do you expect existing holders to benefit from the project's success?
I can take this. So yeah, basically, our system, unlike the existing, blockchain status quo, includes the entire value chain in its ownership model. That's what the association actually legally constitutes and empowers through its rules, is this set of property rights for the entire stack of people across the sort of supply chain for mobile blockchain-based financial and other services. And so the answer to that is that the returns that you will see are from your own work that you do, either as a liquidity provider, as a staker, as an application developer. Not sure if there's any telecoms in the room, but I've got this great validator opportunity for you. But the system itself is designed such that all of the users and producers of it are owners, and that should, in a sense, is the opportunity is to produce the system. So in the case of stakers, is to produce adoption of the platform. In case of liquidity miners, produce liquidity, and of course, developers produce applications. And so, this is how you can earn. If you're talking about price appreciation, that's, I don't really have an answer for you. But the system is designed, unlike virtually every other blockchain, to empower you, the user, with ownership in ways that are suitable to you, based off of the attributes of regular people, people that are DeFi liquidity providers, and developers and validators.
Thank you, Parker. Ty, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I'd just like to add to that. I sit on the Telex Council, but I'm also a very active liquidity provider. And while the price of the token hasn't really materialized, the returns I'm getting on providing liquidity through the rewards on the pools have been okay. Better than I would have had if I'd put my money in the bank account. So I'm one of these examples that Parker mentioned of, users actually benefiting from the ecosystem. So that's I won't divulge any personal information, but that's a testament from a liquidity provider. Thanks.
Does anybody else on the council have any comments? Next question is, what's the estimated timeline on the upgrade actually starting?
I can jump in here. Well, as Grant mentioned, the TGIP vote is finishing very shortly, next hour or two or whatever it is. We will use these next 2 weeks. Everything's been built, so the upgrade contracts are done, the portal's done, a lot of the FAQ pages are done, but we still have a lot more documentation to do. We still have a lot of biz dev to do as well with exchanges and stuff like that. So the plan is, for the next 2 weeks, we are going to get really organized now that the TGIP vote looks like it's going to be completed. And we will announce a date on the next PTTC meeting. But it's not going to be very far away, that's for sure. We're just going to use these next 2 weeks to get fully organized and then announce the date on the next meeting.
Thank you, Nick. Now I'm looking at the stream. One of the questions is, does TEL3 have to be fully deployed and operational before Telcoin Network mainnet can launch?
Yes.
Okay. Has the advisor brought more credibility to the conversations with MNOs getting on board?
Yeah, that's a great question and one I'm like very excited to talk about. Say that it's bringing on the advisor has been one of the most high return investments that we've made. It has been basically walking in the front door to the executives making decisions at the largest telecoms in the world and their providers and their ecosystems on a very consistent basis. Advisors doing basically is kind of like all in what we're up to here, and is we're meeting very frequently, constantly working on specific partners, trying to incubate use cases that the partner themselves has brought or has available within their network. When it's coming from a telecom exec to another telecom exec about this new technology, it is just infinitely more credible, as was asked, than a non-telecom executive. So yeah, it's been a huge win for us. I am very, very excited about all of the opportunities we have available. We've been able to sort of focus in on our unique differentiators and construct the exact value propositions for everyone that we're targeting. We've really ironed out who we're targeting and why at the outset and over time, and driving discussions within the GSMA about major technology upgrades for their existing finance and beyond. Can't really get into specifics on that, but yeah, it's been wonderful, and I'm really pleased that we went forward with that, and look forward to being able to bring the advisor out of the dark and into the limelight, because it's going to be really, even right now, I was just talking to him a few minutes ago and out working with telecoms on use cases for Telcoin Network, and it's just it's been one of the best decisions I think we've made collectively here.
Thank you, Parker. Another question is there any timeliness on when the app will be available for UK users, or is it still down to the UK legislation?
Can you ask that question again?
Yes. The question is there any timeliness on when the app will be available for UK users, or is it still down to the UK legislation?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to speak on that because those things are so fast moving. I'm not 100% certain on the timeline for that with Telcoin. It's not my area, nor is it the rest of Telcoin Labs that's on here right now. Otherwise, I'd like to provide that. I'll look into the timeline and get back with you guys if I can.
Rodney asked a question, can I run a validator node and get paid? The validator is exclusively for GSMA mobile network operators. If TEL3 needs to be fully deployed, you estimated 6 weeks. Don't you need to take up the offer from your colleague? Well, I don't know. Okay, any other questions? While I'm waiting, does anybody on the council have any comments? Okay, I'm closing it out. Thank you, everyone, for joining our 44th Platform and Treasury Council meeting. Next meetings are August 27th, September 10th, and September 24th. 2026 is the year of Telcoin. Mainnet is coming. MNO validators are setting up and actively testing. The telecom blockchain standard is becoming reality. See you in 2 weeks. 2026, the year of Telcoin, the internet of money. Thank you.
Thanks, Angelica.
Thanks,
You're
Angelica.
welcome. Oh my gosh, all that, the questions and then the French.
Beaucoup, Angelica.
Great job, Manu.
Thanks, Owen.
Thanks, Owen.
Thank you.